elementary sense of life or death, good or evil, right or wrong. I met this 6-year-old child with this blank, pale, emotionless face and the blackest eyes, the devil's eyes. I spent 8 years trying to reach him, and then another 7 trying to keep him locked up because I realized that what was living behind that boy's eyes was purely and simply evil.
And we're back. Don't stop. My God. I fully did not. I didn't expect the jacket. Literally. Okay, before we went live, he was just wearing the fedora, and I was like, okay, that's strange. And then as soon as the opening credits ended, he was wearing the full-on Freddy getup. So, guys, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Let's Talk Movies. I'm Brad.
I'm Freddy.
And we are back after a couple of nights that we didn't expect. We expected to do the show on Tuesday. Unfortunately, that didn't happen. I'll take the blame for that. This week has not. I'll put it this way: this week has not been kind. There's been a lot of things that have gone on this week.
Yeah, you can take the L for that one.
But I will. I'll take the L, and I'll admit it where I'm wrong. I get it. I can accept when I'm wrong, Daddy. But hope you all are doing well. Hope you all are doing well. This is Purely and Simply Evil, episode number 22, where we tape the biggest, the deepest, the thickest
ever.
Deep dives into horror. The biggest deep dives. No one takes better deep dives than we do. It's the greatest. We're the best. Nobody takes better deep dives into horror. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, so this has been a long time coming because as we talked about before, Nightmare on Elm Street Part 4, The Dream Master from 1988, we recorded a commentary for this film in probably, I guess it would have been in September. It would have been. And in September, we recorded this commentary and we were like fully prepared to talk about it. And then the Oktoberfest event happened, which was great. We loved it. Blast. And, we talked about Halloween Ends. We revisited some of the Halloween films and stuff like that. But then unfortunately, some of this stuff kind of got put on the back burner. A lot of the Marvel stuff that we typically talk about got put on the back burner. So it was kind of like, okay, so where are we going to throw this in? Finally got it in. And we decided to just do a watch-along because it had been a hot second since Miguel had watched it. That commentary was kind of old news anyways, so I don't know. Maybe we'll release that if we ever... I don't know. There might be a time I'll release that at some point.
Why? It's pretty much almost verbatim what I said.
No. Well, I don't know. But it's still some extra. So, but we're here to talk Elm Street 4, The Dream Master. Interesting film, man. It's funny because I would have told you that I liked Dream Warriors a little bit better, but I don't know. Dream Warriors is a weird one too because for me it's kind of like it's one of the few films that I actually think has fallen in the rank. And usually there are films that I'm like, I think this is actually a little bit better than people give it credit for. But I don't know. Dream Warriors is just, it's such an odd mixture of tones and such an odd mixture of stories. It's weird for me. And, this is really the first deep dive we've taken into an Elm Street film since we did Dream Warriors. And that was months ago. That was in the summer. Yeah, Mike and Jay from We Watched a Movie did that show with us. And it's been a hot second since we really talked anything Elm Street, like deep into each other's pants like this. So it'll be a good time to do it. And I mean, listen, we have Freddy Krueger himself on the show right now, and he's wearing his glasses and he's sporting the stash. He's had some plastic surgery done, so the skin is still it's not as burned anymore. It looks.
I said, please talk about the skin color. Please talk about it.
No, I'm not gonna do that.
Please talk about it.
No. Real quick, Return of the Living Flat. What's going on, Kyle? He said, "Hey, Brad, Miguel. Hope you all are doing well. We hope you're doing too well.
We hope you're doing well too.
Hope you're doing well too, my man." Listen, it's been a long week, but the good news is tomorrow is Friday. and I'm very, very, very much ready for a chill weekend. I'm gonna just relax.
That's still a work
Might
week for me.
put up the Christmas lights. I mean, I don't know. It's it'll be a chill weekend. I'm excited. Miguel, how you doing, man? I've barely even talked to you. Like, honestly, I feel like I've literally
No,
barely
he didn't.
talked
He
to you.
talked to me like 30 minutes ago, guys. I'm gonna lie to
Yeah,
you.
but other than tonight, I really feel like I haven't talked to you all that much. I talked to you Tuesday when I said, "Hey, man, I can't do the show tonight. There's no way. I'm not in the mindset at all." But
Yeah, I was
that was
sitting here.
last
I was reading your guys' comments. I was like, "Where are they at?" And then as I was talking to Brad, I was like, "Yeah, we're not doing the show, guys."
I
I would have
apologize.
said something if I had a account on YouTube.
Well, it's all right. Maybe you can make one. Miguel, let's talk movies. We can make you an account.
No,
Okay.
I'm good. You got the reins on that one.
Bro, we got to get you on Twitter.
I'd rather not be on Twitter.
Listen,
Why would I be on Twitter?
I literally never use my personal Twitter.
Is it really only LTM?
I literally only look at the Let's Talk Movies Twitter account. Bro,
That's
Twitter
so
is
funny.
a wild place now. Like, I think Twitter was always a wild place, but, like, Twitter is a buku, like, diarrhea in the pants wild place. Like, it's nuts. But, like, everybody likes it, though. Like,
I've
it's
had that
cool.
one
I
a
don't
couple of
know.
days.
I scroll past things on Twitter, and I'm like, why is this on here right now? I'm like, this is like dark internet.
Dark
stuff.
internet?
Like, why is this here?
Yeah.
It's very strange. Twitter's a strange place.
It's about to become 4chan, dead ass. The amount of
I don't
the
know.
amount of like leniency they have on what goes on there now. It's about to become
Well,
4chan.
it's funny because like even like certain accounts that Elon Musk and Twitter have like reactivated and things like that, and like some of the things that have gone on Twitter, people are like, Elon, is this okay? And he's like, free speech, free speech, free speech.
At least you
At
can
the
talk
end of the day,
At least you
free
can talk
speech.
to Elon. I mean, it's very rare you can talk like
I know, right?
Bill Gates or fucking
Yeah.
Mark Zuckerberg or whatever.
Yeah, I know.
Like how often can you go on social media and literally just like at the creator or at the
know, right?
owner and be like, "Hey, dog, like what's
pretty
going
crazy.
on?"
Yeah, dude. Mark. I don't even like.
Alive? Yes.
Is Mark Zuckerberg like active on anything?
I don't think so.
I don't know. Is Freddy Krueger active on anything, Miguel?
I'd say if there's one thing I know he'd be active on, okay, I'll say this: if Freddy Krueger had a social media, it would dead ass be Twitter. I'm 100% certain.
Oh yeah, because he'd be like messing with people.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't
He
you
would,
all
like,
think that?
he wouldn't be someone posting pictures, all the
Yeah.
time trying to get likes. He wouldn't be doing that.
Well,
He wouldn't be I'd say he wouldn't be on Facebook because then like at that point like it's way too much traffic. Like his stuff would get lost in the fucking echo. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Shout out Linkin Park. But I'd say Snapchat or Twitter, because at least with Snapchat, I know I said he doesn't take pictures, but you know how some people just be stupid as fuck and they just tell their whole story like on like based on
Yeah.
the Snapchats. I
yeah.
feel like Freddie could do that. Be like, shout out, I'm at Nancy's house, ha ha ha, she's sleeping, and like,
He's taking selfies with her, like.
yeah. All of the victims, yeah.
But Freddie would also be making bot accounts and like spamming people too, just because he thought it was funny. That'd be the MTV Freddie side of him.
I believe it. I 100% believe that. Like, you think he'd make fake accounts just to troll people? Oh,
Probably.
Well, here I'll say this: Freddie would definitely be a troll. I'll say that. He looks like a troll. He looks like a skinny troll. He looks like a troll
does.
on.
He looks like a
Activia.
burnt skinny troll. I have to ask, where did the sweater come from? Because it's actually a very good looking sweater, like a pretty good looking Freddy sweater.
Bro, we talked about it on Halloween. I needed to go as Freddy, and I literally just went to a Halloween City like on Halloween, and
That's from Halloween City.
yeah.
Wow. It's actually like kind of not bad. I mean, it's not tattered and burned and like worn, but like it's like pretty decent looking.
Yeah, why would I want to wear something that's burnt, dude? I don't fuck with Balenciaga like that. You check out the news. I don't rock that ripped shit.
Bro, you gotta
Check 'em
you gotta
out.
play it right, dude. You gotta get the burn. You gotta get that burn look going.
Nah,
It's
I'm
the
good.
only way to do Freddy.
Nah, I'm good.
The man himself is in the chat. He's back. We're back. He said, Miguel looking like a suave Freddy Krueger. LOL. What's up, guys? What's up, Jay? Did hope you're having
That's
a good
so
night,
funny
man.
because when they were asking me what I was for Halloween, I deadass told them I was like Fernando Krueger Miranda. I tell you what, I got a lot of free drinks out of that one.
That's awesome, dude.
So,
Fernando Krueger.
Fernando
Fernando.
Krueger Miranda.
Dude, could you, if they would have kept going with sequels after Freddy's dead, that's
He
that's
turned into a
basically what would have
Mexican,
happened. He would have been
straight up.
like
Could
they would have
you
been.
could you imagine like Freddy Krueger in like sunny Los Angeles during the 90s, like during like peak Cholo time? Yeah.
Dude,
I
well,
100% believe he would
the
do some
teenagers would show
very
up in their dream,
political stuff.
and it would be this like creepy, like they're walking around, they're scared, they don't know what's happening, and then suddenly they'd see him and they'd be like, Freddy Krueger, and he'd go, no, I'm Fernando now. And he would pull out like
That's
the
TV
he'd pull out a
man.
sword
No,
or something.
I want Freddy in like a plaid, like a flannel, button up to the very top, but unbuttoned everywhere else.
It's still red and green though.
And it's still red and green, yeah.
Yeah.
No, red and green bandana over his forehead. Hell yeah.
Jaden said Freddy would be on Kick. That's where all the creeps used to be.
Holy
on.
shit!
I don't
J-Dad.
even know what. I forgot Kick existed.
I totally
never
forgot
even.
J-Dad was a
I don't
thing.
know.
Sorry, I totally forgot Kick was a thing.
Jaden, he forgot you were a thing, dude.
No,
He forgot all
Kick was a
about you.
thing.
He didn't know who you
I
were.
forgot about all the fucking social media, man. Literally, the top 3 are like what we got now.
Yeah. Well, it's funny when everybody thought Twitter was like going away, like it was gonna crash overnight, and everybody was like, "Well, I'm on Instagram if you want to find me." Like, you know, I had tweeted, I was like, "MySpace, here we come."
Did you tweet that?
Yes, I was like,
That's
every
so funny.
MySpace is coming back. This is how it's gonna happen.
I love that.
So before we get deep into the Elm Street 4 discussion, I picked this bad boy up. On Tuesday night, I've seen advertisements for this, and I had been wanting to try it for a hot second. And I picked it up, and I was like, we're going to do a beer review of this real quick. And then, unfortunately, we couldn't because we didn't do the show, which was my own fault. So it's been sitting in my fridge for 2 days. It's nice and cold. This is Great Lakes Brewing Company in Cleveland, Ohio.
God damn, you guys read that? You guys must have read that before he even said it. 7.5%.
I know, right? Yeah. So I almost grabbed 2 of them, but we're gonna see. We're gonna see how this guy makes me feel. The description says, "Do not open until Christmas." Whoever coined that phrase obviously hasn't tasted Christmas. Ales fresh honey, cinnamon, and ginger flavors.
All that with alcohol.
Yep. So it's got like a. You could taste the.
Okay,
or smell the-
Fernando, take a swig right now. And tell me how it
No,
tastes.
all right. Well, you got to do the pour test though. You got to do that. We got to see the color.
Yeah, we want to see how
Ooh.
terrible he pours.
It's more of a.
from the clunk. Oh shit, that's a dark beer. No,
It's a little bit redder than I expected. It
Red.
probably looks
It's
looks
Christmas.
dark, but it's got like a reddish. Ooh, look at the tree through it. What a Christmas vibe that is, bro. Look at that, bro. Look at it, bro. Look at it, bro.
Bro, it's so crisp moist.
I'm gonna stop acting like a
it's
middle
so
schooler now.
cool.
Yeah.
You guys know
Here we
what
go.
I'm talking
This
about.
is Great Lakes Brewing Company Christmas Ale. I've been waiting a couple weeks to try this thing.
He doesn't like it, guys.
Wow, that's not at all what I was expecting.
He doesn't like it. For those of you, for those of you, he don't like Christmas. If he says he doesn't like
No,
it,
I like it.
He doesn't like
Listen,
Christmas. I'm gonna say that right now.
I really like Great Lakes Brewing. I like a lot of their stuff. I'm not a big fan of their Oktoberfest though. Like if I'm gonna go for an Oktoberfest, there's actually a couple other ones that I would grab before that one.
Mm-hmm.
But this is good. It's different. It's a little bit. It's
There's one thing I hate is people gulping on a mic. So for the fans,
it's got a little bit more like fruitiness to it than I guess I would have expected. And it's not necessarily super fruity, but like I think it's the honey. A lot of it's the honey. A lot of it's the ginger. Do we have a flavor profile on this?
bro, what?
What?
Are we getting to the
Christmas
flavor?
Ale Great Lakes.
Hey guys, welcome back to Let's Talk Beer. I'm Miguel, and
Dude, that
that's
would be
Brad.
awesome. Dude, that's the spin-off show. I get it.
That's the spin-off. All right.
Let's see. Where are you?
Sorry, he had to lock into a beer connoisseur membership. He had to
I
log into
did.
Untappd. If you guys have Untappd, check it out.
Wow.
Follow me.
Listen to this.
Fucking dope.
Pairs well with roasted duck, spiced desserts, and ugly Christmas sweaters. Interesting.
We drink ducks. We drink ducks now, man.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
what we
it just
do.
says honey ginger. I don't get as much ginger, honestly. I don't get the ginger as much. I taste the cinnamon though. I taste the honey, especially. The honey's probably the strongest. The honey's probably the strongest.
Bro, by this time the beer's gonna be almost gone, and we can't talk about it. We can't talk about the movie.
No, it's good, man. I enjoy that. That's good. Much better than their Oktoberfest. There's probably going to be a few different beer reviews because I'm gonna
Christmas.
want to.
There's gonna be a lot of Christmas.
I'm gonna want to try a few different ones. So I wish Julia could try it, but the whole being pregnant thing kind of.
That kind of Debbie's mood.
Kind of prevents her from trying it.
If that.
She's actually walking down there. This is really good. Yeah. You want to smell it? Sure. She can smell. She just can't taste.
Oh my God! Live on the show, gentlemen.
It's okay.
Alcohol. Where's my laptop?
Do you smell it?
Yeah, it smells good.
Over
It
here.
smells like Christmas.
That's because it's December 1st.
Look at him. Look at him right now.
He looks like Freddy Krueger.
Hey now, it's Fernando.
Hey now, you're an all-star.
Are they gonna see me if I walk over?
No, they shouldn't.
Hint
No,
of
they
elf
really won't.
jizz.
They'll be okay.
Oh my God, J-Dad, you
No.
fucking wild dog.
He, she, we big boobs. What's going on, man? What's happening today? 4 people today so far.
It's gonna grow. Calm down.
Yeah, they'll show up. It's all right. Listen, we had like 9 people waiting
Oh
in
my
the chat.
God. How many did he have? How many beers did he have before?
Bro, I've taken 3 sips
Okay, 3 gulps. You mean?
and like a quarter of.
We've
a
all
water.
heard it.
That's what I've had. Love you. J-Dad said flavor profile: nutmeg, cinnamon, reindeer droppings, and a hint of elf jizz.
Jesus, suck. That's what I was laughing at.
That's pretty funny. It's good. I dig it. I like it.
I'm glad. How much was that shit, dog?
No more than what a 6-pack would be. I mean, just a normal 6-pack.
I about said. Some of these seasonal beers be like $20 a 6-pack.
Listen, are you all about to make this chat super dirty? Like what? I don't know what show it was, but the chat for literally like the entire 2 hours we were live was just absolutely filthy.
I think it was
time.
I think it was the live feed of us commentating.
Of Elm Street 4, right?
So yeah.
So speaking of Elm Street 4, let's get into this thing. August 19th, 1988. A Nightmare on Elm Street Part 4, The Dream Master, was released in theaters. Made just under $49.5 million at the box office on a $6.5 million budget. And I've said it once before, and I'll say it again. It blows my mind that, because at this point, to kind of set the stage here, like Elm Street had blown up at this point. And as a result, New Line Cinema had blown up. And it just kind of shocks me that, like, it kind of amazes me that even with New Line Cinema growing as a company, and even with the Elm Street franchise growing, and, like, the character of Freddy Krueger becoming the pop culture icon that he was, it blows my entire mind that the budgets for these films were always so low. Like, compared to some of the other films of that time.
Bro, sometimes
compared to some of the other films of that time, I mean,
that's like in the millions. I just assume that's a very big
low.
budget.
I mean, let's see, 1988 movies. What else came out in 1988? That's comparable. I mean, obviously, like, Halloween 4. What was Halloween 4's budget? Let's see.
We talked about it on the previous show.
Let's see. Okay, so I guess it had a little bit bigger of a budget than Halloween 4 did. Not like a massively bigger budget. I'm trying to see what else came out then. Did New Blood come out in 88? Yeah, Friday the 13th. The New Blood came out in 1988. It had a 2.8 million. So I guess it's not that bad. But I don't know, compared to, I know Miguel's shaking his head at me right now. I don't know, even with Dream Warriors, like, they talked about how many special effects shots and stuff, like, it took, and how much money that took, and how much of the budget that took, and how difficult it was. It just, I don't know, the budget's always kind of surprised me with the Elm Street films for whatever reason, but, it's funny. I actually saw on Twitter last night, I was scrolling, and I saw this account, shout out to Horror Ads on Twitter. Again, talking about Twitter. And they randomly had posted this video of, I guess it was Robert Englund, although the voice sounded very, very strange, in the Freddy makeup, doing an advertisement, like, my new film, Nightmare on Elm Street Part 4, The Dream Master, is on, home video, and you can buy the poster, and you can buy a figure, like, all this different stuff. And I had retweeted it, and I was like, it just goes to show you how much of an icon he became at that point. Not necessarily as a horror, scary icon, but even just in pop culture. Like, he was such an important figure in, like, pop culture consciousness at that point. Mm-hmm. And, we'll talk about this in a few minutes, but that even kind of went into the approach to this film, was, like, they were very much aware of that, and very much aware of the fact that, like, people rooted for Freddy, like, people loved Freddy. And that kind of altered their course a little bit as well. As with many of the Elm Street films, Wes Craven had attempted to course correct the entire franchise with the fourth entry, and Bob Shea and Sarah Risher from New Line, who, they were the top faces at the time, they read Wes's pitch and they were like, yeah, can't do that one, Chief. Sorry. What Wes Craven wanted to do something with, like, time travel, where they, like, go back in time and try to stop Freddy, but it's like the dream world is time travel, so, like, it was kind of wacko. Like, it was a lot, which that even sounds kind of crazy.
But at that point, it was like the 1990s, and, like, anything scientific was just out the window and back in.
It was almost the 90s. Almost the 90s. Well, and Sarah Risher, like, this is an exact quote from her. She said, "Initially, I approached Wes for an idea for the fourth film. I always go to Wes first each time. His idea was illogical. It was about time travel within dreams that broke all of the rules of dreams. We decided not to go with that. When we decided to go with William Kotzwinkle's Dream Master idea, which we thought was terrific, I told Wes that we were doing that." And
the rules? What fucking rules were there? There were zero rules.
Well, and it's interesting that she says that, because it almost feels like they've rewritten the rules every single movie. Like, you established a certain set of rules in the first Elm Street film, and then part 2 kind of, like, completely stripped that. Like, Freddy is coming out of Jesse's skin, and he's coming out of his body, and it's more of a possession film than it really is like a Freddy in your dream film. You also have Elm Street 3, which kind of rewrote things with the superpowers and being able to fight Freddy, and the way that Freddy died in that film and things like that. Like, it's interesting that they were talking, that they even, I don't know, part of me kind of feels like they just didn't want to give Wes Craven complete creative control. Because it's like, yes, they're like, yeah, we always went to Wes, but each time it's always like, no, we're not doing that. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, we went to you. We can say we went to you. That's it. Yeah. And I don't know that that's what happened. I mean,
like, pretty much just say that we
exactly
reached out to him, but we didn't want to
check in a box
whatsoever. Yeah.
Yeah, you're just checking a box. That's kind of the vibe that I get, and I don't know. I would like to have seen what Wes Craven would have done to, like, course correct it. You know what I mean? Because I know he was not a fan of Elm Street 2. I don't know.
I don't think time travel thing's gonna be a miss. I think time travel would have been a miss.
Yeah. Well, it would have been a miss.
Time travel back then would have been mid as fuck. And every single one of the time travel movies I've seen were mid as fuck, except for Terminator. But anything else, it was kind of mid. I'm not gonna lie.
I gotta say, the only cool thing that they could have done with the time travel thing is they could have brought Nancy back, and they could have brought Johnny Depp's character back, and they could have brought Amanda Weiss back, and they could have brought, like, all, like, characters that had died. They could have brought them back to fight Freddy, and that could have been kind of cool. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Well, I feel like what it would have been was, like, it wouldn't have been present time. Honestly, it would have probably been, like, somewhere long into the future, like, I don't know, 2010. Because it was in the fucking 80s.
Oh, you think they would have went in the future?
Yeah, like, they would have started in the future and then try to go in the past, and the past would have been our present. And it'd been some bullshit like that where the whole scenery is, like, fucking silver. You know, like in the SpongeBob episode? You know what I mean? Like, that
it's chrome.
It's chrome.
Everything is chrome.
It's
chrome.
Yeah. So, yeah, that, I don't know. That probably would have put a sour taste in my mouth.
Yeah. J-Dad said a quantum realm Freddy could have been lit. I mean, I kind of think that's basically what this would have been. You know, it would have been just like a weird Back to the Future, like, They, and yes, yeah, I don't know why you said that about time travel films were never big. Back to the Future, bro.
I did forget about that. I'm not gonna lie. I was thinking of like all the older like 80s action ones. Damn, how did I forget about Back to the Future?
Yeah, you have T2, you have Back to the Future. Like, there's some really killer time travel films in
Jesus
there, dude.
Christ. Look what 2 hours of sleep can do to you, dog.
Bro, I didn't get much more than you. We had puking dog in the middle of the night at 2:30 a.m.
Just wait, soon it's gonna be a kid.
I know, it'll be there. But yeah, man, the whole Wes thing is interesting. I would have liked to have seen what Wes would have done. But we got what we got, and it's fun. These are fun films to look at and to rewatch because of the whole MTV thing and how the character kind of evolved. And they had contacted Wes about doing rewrites, of the Dream Master script later on in the process. But I think when he saw the direction that they were taking the character, and when he knew the direction that they were taking Part 4, I think he was kind of like, yeah, I'm over this. I'm out. Like, I'm done. And I can't blame him for that. You know what I mean? Because they took something that he had a very clear vision for and basically twisted it they twisted it every possible way that you could.
Well, I'm sure that's pretty much unfortunately how every single fucking horror franchises went at that point.
Fair.
Because John Carpenter just wanted a one-off, and Freddy and Wes Craven had a completely different route in regards to how Freddy was supposed to go. But then MTV was like, he's going to be a cool guy first.
Yeah. If he's not wearing sunglasses in the next one, you're doing it wrong.
Exactly. I'm pulling my funding.
He's got to have
Ray-Bans. I want Ray-Bans on his pointy ears, or you lose the million. Simple as that.
Can we talk about the fact that we got Freddy's glove as a shark in the water?
Bro, when I saw that, I was like, did Freddy turn himself into a shark? And then at second thought, I was like, oh shit, it's a goddamn glove. It's his glove.
Yeah, it's
and then he runs, and then like it was what made that scene a lot scarier was the fact that it looked like a shark. It was swimming through the water. It was cutting through the water. And then as soon as they got to the shore, oh boy didn't get up from the water. He just darted through the fucking sand and blew up old girl's sandcastle, which, by the way, was the most tragic thing out of the entire fucking movie.
Because it was a good-looking sandcastle.
It was a good-looking sandcastle, exactly. But, yeah, that's... like, it made you think right there. Made you think, like, oh, okay, so this is a different Freddy than we got going on.
Right. Well, and... for me, like, I don't know. Let me ask you this, Miguel. Which one do you think is the messier film? Do you think Dream Warriors is the messier one, or do you think Dream Master is a messier film? Because I would have said that Dream Master was worse, but looking back on it and, like, really looking at the story they were trying to tell, I'm like, I think Dream Master might be a little bit of a better put-together film than Dream Warriors was. That's just me. That might be crazy. And anybody listening might be like, dude, we're revoking your horror card. And I'm going to say, no, you can't. Have fun trying. But, yeah, what do you think?
I think both pretty much were all right. Both were kind of put together. It's been a while since I've watched Dream Warriors. But I'd say the only thing that I know that was a really big, like, weird 180 and Dream Warriors is when they start talking about their powers. It's like, so as soon as they said, okay, let's dream, and then all of a sudden,
what can you do?
We have powers, yeah. So at that point, that's when we took kind of like a 180, I guess. Yeah. But the same thing could be applied. The same thing could be applied with with Dream Master.
I am the Wizard Master.
Oh yeah, that was pretty cringe. But
they're like, what can you do, Kincaid? He picks up a chair, and they're like. Like, bro, he picked up a chair. Like, what are you doing? Like, he didn't do anything,
Yeah.
I remember when we watched that film, when Kristen does her backflip on the wall, you said, how is that going to help you fight him? Like, legit, you can do gymnastics. Congratulations. Like, you can evade him
I can't
for
imagine
5 extra
myself
minutes.
Doing 3 backflips to save myself from death. But, I don't know. Dream Master had the same 180, too. It was like when... It did. The 180 happened when old girl got thrown into the fucking boiler, and she was like, "Here, take my powers," and just thrusted. I guess her power now is being a fucking Kirby. Like she sucks up the powers of everyone else as well that's died. So then she
Yeah.
becomes this like all powerful, I guess, Dream Master.
Right. Well, and it's interesting, like, I think this one has many of the same issues that Dream Warriors had, in that it feels like a lot of ideas kind of like thrown into one. But at the same time, you all, like, it's interesting that you just said that about the whole, you know, I'm like, when Kristen passes her powers on to Alice and things like that. Like, it's the whole collecting powers thing. They had a lot that they kind of had to make work, especially because of the powers thing with Dream Warriors. So it's just kind of like, it's a hard thing to make logical, you know, like, especially when you're already dealing with the dream world and like things are already kind of wild and crazy to begin with. Like, I think it was a lot to try and make into like one cohesive story, which it was also rewritten by multiple people too, which again, I feel like yes, that happens in cinema. Like, I'm aware that is a common occurrence. Multiple people writing multiple drafts of scripts and treatments and stories and things like that. But it felt like with this, they knew that Freddy was such a pop culture icon that they wanted to keep getting the films out, and it seems like, I feel like they were always putting the cart before the hearse before the horse with the Elm Street films. Like, they didn't really take the time to say, like, okay, if we're gonna keep making films, let's plan out what's about to happen. You know what I mean? Like, let's try to at least stick to the same themes and the same tone and the same rules. But it was just like, we got to get another one out.
Yeah.
Cool. You want him eating people on a pepperoni pizza? Sure. Send it.
Bro,
Go.
I told Brad, I was like, bro, we really about to talk about this movie for the third time. Like, Freddy eating meatballs, human meatballs off of pizza like that is kind of ingrained in my mind.
Yeah, Miguel was not a fan of that scene, of the meatball scene.
It's not a good scene, I'll be honest. Because I personally don't like seeing people. That's weird for me to say. I don't like seeing people.
You don't like seeing people?
I don't like.
Nobody likes seeing people.
No, I was saying I don't like seeing people eat like that. Like, you know what I mean? Like showboaty kind of.
Yeah.
Like that. Like.
You know what makes it worse though? Is he stabs the meatball kid in the eye, and then he looks at him or whatever, and when he puts him in his mouth and like bites down, it explodes like all on his lip and stuff. It's really gross, actually. It really is. It's a pretty nasty scene. Which, listen, to be fair, there's a few pretty nasty scenes in this film.
And hey, I can appreciate what Michael's I can appreciate Freddy's fucking ideas that he did with these kills. Like, I'm not gonna lie, he was pretty. It was brutal. He was pretty conservative in the first two kills, but. First three kills actually, and then but then after that he said, "Fuck it, I'm going to town now, man."
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not. You talked about the 180 thing. Something that this film, again, we'll come back to this in a few minutes too. But something that I think is interesting about this is you could almost look at Dream Master like it's like a sequel, and it's like a really early requel almost. You know what I mean? Because it's like, yes, it's a sequel to part 3, but it also like, it's like you're kind of starting off with a brand new set of characters halfway through the movie, because Joey dies and Kincaid dies and then Kristen dies, and it's like, okay, well, there goes everybody from the last film. Like, now we're stuck with Alice, which Alice actually grew on me these last couple of watches. I hadn't actually sat and watched the Elm Street films back to back like this, probably in 4 or 5 years. I did it once when I bought my box set. And Miguel, this is his first time ever, although he's seen Dream Master 3 times now. But it's okay. So it's just kind of interesting, like the whole. They were so. It felt like they didn't really ever have a set place or direction that they wanted to go. It was just more like, it feels like they were just kind of flying by the seat of their pants. Like, okay, we got to get another one out. We got to get one out. We got to get one out. We got to get one out, which is fine. You know what I mean? I'm not complaining. I'm glad we got what we got. It's a fun franchise, and I love it very dearly, especially the meatball scene.
Gross. Literally 10.
But yeah.
Like, I'll be honest, that's like second. That's second to the fucking cockroach scene.
Yeah, I agree, Jaded. Dream Master felt like a parody of A Nightmare on Elm Street. Like Scary Mover is for Scream. But it also, like, it
That's
tried
funny.
to be
That
serious
pretty
in
good
some
parody,
moments,
too.
though. Like I feel like some of the kids. I think the reason there are so many characters is they needed moments for Freddy to be just kind of cool, like the kung fu thing. You know what I mean? I feel like that was something that always kind of blew my mind. I was like, is Freddy really doing invisible kung fu right now? Like, is this really happening right now?
Yeah.
Like, what is really going on? Bye, Hishiwi. Have a good night, man. He said, "All right, Brad, Miggy. I like that. I'm gonna change your name in my
That's
phone
a
to
first.
Miggy.
That's
I
a
gotta
first, buddy.
I gotta head out to dinner. Peace out, man. Have a good one, buddy. We'll
Bye-bye.
talk to you soon." So William Kotzwinkle, who actually wrote the screenplay for Steven Spielberg's E.T., penned the original story for the Dream Master. And then Brian Helgeland, who actually was trying to get a completely different film off the ground, was then approached to adapt the story into a script. So keep in mind there was still no director at this point. That's very, very important. And Helgeland went to his parents' house. He stayed there for like 2 weeks or something like that. I think he finished the script in like 8 or 9 days. And he FedExed it. He mailed it to New Line Cinema. And that was the second draft of the story. So we've already got 2 different drafts of the Dream Master story going on here. After that, there were 2 brothers, Ken and Jim Wheat, who they had a few different films. They did like the Fly sequel. They did the sequel to The Birds. They did a film in the 70s called Silent Scream. And they were brought on to make even more changes. So now you're already at the 3rd draft of this Dream Warrior story, or Dream Master storyline. Then Tom McLaughlin, who you probably know as the writer and director of Jason Lives, Friday the 13th Part 6. He was contacted by New Line Cinema, and they wanted him to head the Dream Master project. And he said that in order for him to take this on, he wanted 100% complete creative control. And New Line Cinema was like, we can't do that. Like, and he was like,
We've
"What do you
already
mean?"
paid like 3 other people to write the script.
Well, this is what makes the production side of things really interesting here, is because he was like, why can't you give me complete creative control? Like, what's the problem with that? And they were like, well, we're already shooting the movie. And he was like, what do you mean you're already filming the movie? Like, you're already filmed? Like, they were like, yeah, we just went ahead and started doing it. Listen, you're desperate to get a film out when you just go to camera without a cast and crew. And, like, well, they had a cast, I guess, but, like, without a director and without, like, without a direction, you're just like, okay, let's do it. They look at Robert Englund, Robert's like, all right, what do you want me to do? They're like, I don't know, Chase, do something. Like, we got to get some kind of footage, do something, What's going on, man? I am Edward Black. Haven't seen you in here before, man. Welcome. My favorite, well, aside from Nightmare 1 through 3, 4, New Nightmare, and Freddy vs. Jason. Dude, I love Freddy vs. Jason.
Freddy vs.
Legit.
Jason is a staple in the whole
It is.
Freddy franchise.
Yeah, and it's not the best version of Freddy, I will say that, but I still enjoy the crap out of that movie, man. I think it's awesome. So, of course, Tom McLaughlin, this is a direct quote from him. He said, "When I finished Friday, I was offered Nightmare 4 and went to New Line, met with them, and I said, I love Freddy. I would love to do one of these, but I really want to do what I just did where I had complete creative control." And they go, "Well, we're already shooting." And he was like, "What?" They said, "Yeah, we're already shooting. We're shooting at like 2 different units for visual effects and then something else, puppets or something." And he said, without a director, and they were like, yeah, we kind of know how we're going to make these things now. And he was like, okay, that's not the way I work. He turned it down. And, of course, he said that made Rennie Harlin's career because he turned that down. And at this point, Rennie Harlin had only directed 2 films. He had directed Born American in 1986 and then Prison in 1987. And it's really funny. It's a fun watch if you go back to... Excuse me. Gotta get a drink of my Christmas beer.
You got the flu. The type A.
Oh, don't say that. Don't say that. I don't need that, man. Do not. Don't say that.
I don't need that negative energy.
I don't say that, man. Yeah, man, no problem. We're super glad you're here. What was I even saying? I don't know. Oh, it's funny if you go and watch Never Sleep Again, because hearing them describe Rennie Harlin in the 80s was really cool. So, like, he was a Finnish dude, and from what I can gather, he didn't speak the best of English. and he didn't appear to the New Line execs, at least, to be a very well put together guy. You know, like in his clothing, and I forget who it was, but somebody said he was like, they were like, it was very obvious he wasn't like cleaning, like taking a bath or whatever. Like, I don't know. It's the way they described it on,
ladies and gentlemen.
The way they described it on Never Sleep Again was kind of funny. And of course, Rennie Harlan's gone on to have an awesome career, awesome dude. I don't know him personally, but he seems like an awesome dude. But you know, he didn't seem to be very well put together for them, and he met with them about Elm Street 4, and I believe another project that he had been working on too, and after like 20 minutes, Bob Shaye was like, all right, nice to meet you, bye. Like, they're like, okay. So then you fast forward a few weeks and a few months. Dude, this guy was awesome because he would just randomly show up at the New Line Cinema, like, executive offices, and he would just be like, hi, I'm here again. And Bob Shaye said they would like radio him, and they'd be like, yeah, Rennie Harlan is here. And he'd be like, the Finnish guy is here again? Like, why is he here? What does he want? And he just kept bugging them and bugging them and bugging them and bugging them until they were basically like, okay, you will direct Elm Street 4, fine. Like, he just bugged the crap out of them until they finally gave in. I was like, that's how you get things done.
Am I right? Holy shit, man! Rennie Harlan's directed like Die Hard 2.
Yeah, dude. He has gone on to have a big career.
Sea, Hercules.
Yes.
What else is The Exorcist? The beginning. Oh shit.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. He's done a lot of good movies, man. I ain't gonna lie. What is Cutthroat Island? Did he direct that? What the hell is that? That looks like a parody to fucking Pirates of the Caribbean. Like, if you look at the cover, guys, like, check it out. It looks like a spinoff, yeah.
But yeah, and I believe he was even married. Let me see. He was married to, I think, who was he married to? Yeah, he was married to Gina Davis for a little while, which is pretty
Gina
cool.
Davis. Oh wait.
You would know her. You would know her if you saw her. Yeah.
Where do I know her from? Fuck. Where do I know her from?
What don't you know her from? I mean, she's done a ton of things, dude.
Why'd you say that like I'm like a less of a person for not remembering?
No, you're not less of a person. She's done a lot of things. I mean, let me see.
She did. Stuart Little. That's what I'm thinking of. I didn't even have to.
Yeah,
she
was in Stuart Little. Yep, she was in Stuart Little. She was in Cutthroat Island as well. She was in A League of Their Own. Let me see what else. She was in of course. Yeah, she was in The Fly. I forgot about that. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, she did quite a few things. Knight Rider. J-Dad said he doesn't seem to be put together yet. Harvey Weinstein was one of the most powerful guys in Hollywood and looked like the stuff in a McDonald's clogged sink drain.
Oh, I read that finally. Oh, god damn, dude. God.
That was kind of whack.
Cow.
Wow, that was we just really went there.
That was not out of pocket. That was right in pocket, right there,
dude. It cracked me up when Mike and Jay interviewed Paul Brad Logan, no, it wasn't Paul Brad Logan. No, it was. Who was it that they were? Why am I'm blanking on his name? What's his name?
Now I got noted.
I'm completely blanking on this dude's name. No, I'm completely blanking on this dude's name. I'm gonna get it. What's his name? This is gonna kill me until I get it. I have to do this. I have to. It was Robert Zappia. I don't know why I couldn't remember that. When they interviewed Robert Zappia, he was talking about when they were making Halloween H2O, and he was like, he mentioned the Weinsteins, and he was like the Weinsteins, lovely people. That just absolutely killed me, dude. He was being sarcastic, obviously.
Oh, okay. I was like,
yeah, he was being sarcastic. He was like, so here I am sitting in a room with Harvey and Bob Weinstein. He was like, lovely people. I heard that and that just killed me. I was like dying in my car. That was awesome.
Good God, man. Yeah, what a time, man. They were powerhouses back then, man. They literally made their names have touched a lot of movies that we all know and love, and that puts a weird taste in your mouth when you think about it.
Yeah, dude, 100%. I Am Edward Black. 100%, dude. The budget did a lot for a film like this. The pure talent that went in for no money is pure passion, which they all acted beautifully, especially for a horror film. It was creepy. They actually made us believe in their performances. I gotta say, the actors did a good job.
He didn't say creepy. He said campy.
Huh?
He didn't say creepy. It says campy.
Oh, campy. Okay, yes. I see. I obviously can't read, but that's okay. But no, yes, it was campy, but it was like, it's weird. Like this whole MTV Freddy thing is interesting because, like, yes, it's funny. Yes, the kills are kind of silly, and there's a part of you that is like low key kind of rooting for Freddy, but at the same time, it's like they're still trying to take it seriously, and they're still trying to like progress the story and tell like a real interesting story. It's kind of interesting, man. He also said MTV did a huge special regarding Nightmare 4, so Icon definitely right on it, man. Yeah, it's crazy. Like, it's a very weird balance between, like, the funny, jokey side of Freddy and still at the same time having to try to make him scary, which is why I have a lot of respect for New Nightmare, because New Nightmare, like, took Freddy and legitimately made him scary again, you know, which is something that would be really, really hard. I mean, that's difficult to do. With a lot of these characters to make them actually scary, you know, like, I think it's interesting to kind of think about how you could make some of these characters scary again, because
I about said
we're so accustomed to them
major
now, you know?
effort. I feel like it took a major effort. It literally took a distinct decision to make Freddy Krueger MTV Freddy.
Yes.
I feel like, because you could have stuck with like a demonic man haunting your dreams and still would have perpetually been just a scary movie. But then, like, for some reason MTV just did a 180 again, and we're just like, nope, he's gonna be the host of the MTV Music Awards next season.
Well, and again, it's one of the things that sets this film apart for me. It's the first real true MTV Freddy film. Again, like, we had talked about this with Mike and Jay, like, on whatever episode that was, I don't remember the number, but, you know, like, 1 and 2 are very serious, and 3 is kind of a strange mixture of like, it's got MTV Freddy elements, but it's also still kind of trying to be serious and trying to make him scary. But then 4 on is just full on, like, full tilt MTV Freddy. Like, he's funny. He's calling everybody bitches all the time. Like, it's just like, it's just a completely.
You know that Key and Peele skit whenever they're trying to, like, say, like, I said bitch.
That's basically what happens to Freddy.
That's basically what Brad just did right now.
I said bitch. J-Did said, how do you make Freddy creepy again? You hire Dave McRae. Bro, I know, right?
And yeah.
It legit looks so good. It's blowing my mind. I can't wait to see it, man. I really, really can't. We got to get Dave and Cecil on here to talk about that, man, because I'm genuinely really excited for that.
I feel like he does have the capability to make Freddy Krueger a lot more scary. Yeah. And I'm curious to know on, like, what direction he's going to go with, because, you know, obviously those stills are, you know, definitely shows Freddy Krueger and his, like primal, like, predatory moments. But, you know, you never know. Dave Craig could easily do MTV Freddy. You know what I mean? Like, it's just the way we're going to see.
And I think that proves my point, though, too, about the whole, like, at the same, like, I know so many people are so dead set on Robert Englund has to come back. Robert Englund has to come back. They want Robert Englund back. They want Robert Englund back. But here's the deal. If you bring Robert Englund back, the character is never going to evolve. The character is just going to stay in the same realm as he was always in. Because at the end of the day, it's Robert Englund playing him. Mm-hmm. We're just going to skip over my burp and pretend that it didn't happen.
That shit was wet, dog.
It was. Blah, blah, blah. But if you get a new actor in there, not trying to emulate Robert Englund, which Dave has said numerous times. He was like, I was not trying to play Robert Englund playing Freddy. He was like, I'm literally trying to play Freddy. Like, I'm just doing Freddy. I'm not trying to do Robert's version. Like, they purposely didn't make him look like Robert Englund. They purposely did their own thing with the character, and I think that's what needs to happen next with the Freddy Krueger character. I don't think we need to keep reverting back to Robert Englund. I love Robert Englund. I really, really do. We saw him at Scarefest this year. Like, I think he's a cool dude. I've never personally talked to him, but I think like any interview I've ever seen him with, he seems like a really kind, personable guy, and I think he did a really, really great job with the role. But I feel like for the character to really move on and for the character to be scary again and to bring something new to it, you have to do what Cecil and Dave are doing with the character. You have to just focus on Freddy and not Robert as Freddy, you know? As Miguel, listen, maybe he can play Freddy. Who knows? I would pay money to see it. Maybe he can play Freddy naked. What? I'd pay money to see that movie. I'm really glad he didn't just hear what I said. Oh man. Yeah, you did, and I'm glad you missed it.
Oh, okay.
I said maybe you should play Freddy. You could play him.
Me play Freddy?
I said you could play him naked.
Oh shit! No, I don't know about that. I don't know if I could do that.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Big responsibilities.
Yeah. Edward Black, do you have a YouTube channel, man? Well, obviously you have a channel, but I mean, do you make content? He said 2 episodes of my YouTube horror-based series. I am Edward Black. 80s was great. I love cinema from this era. 90s too. Awesome, man. Guys, go check him out if you haven't already. Don't leave here yet, but when we
I will be checking you out.
Yes, we will. We will both check you out. Hardcore. Yeah, we'll check out your channel, man. Everybody go check out hashtag I am Edward Black. Check out his stuff. You know, and again, like, talking about the MTV Freddy thing, before we kind of get into, like, the plot, Rennie Harlan even, like, confirmed this himself. Like, he said, we've reached a point where the audience sees Freddy as the hero. They come to these movies to hear his funny lines and see him do these amazing things. And because of that popularity, I'm faced with showing Freddy in a more heroic light. That's a strange thing to say. Giving him more screen time. People will still fear him, debatable, but they will also be cheering him on. Which is, I don't know if I ever thought he was really scary. You know what I mean? I don't know if he was
scary. At least whenever I was a kid.
Well, of course, when you're a kid, it's different. But, like, watching this as an adult, I'm like, I don't know if there was ever a moment where I was like, yeah, he's pretty scary. Like, he looks pretty scary. Legit. He's kind of freaky. But I don't necessarily think that that's, I don't know. I don't necessarily think that he was terrifyingly scary. Like, I think in the first film, there's genuine moments where it's like, ooh, that's creepy. In the second film, there's genuine moments where it's like, ooh, that's pretty scary. Part 3, I'm like, he's not really scary. And then this one, I'm like, okay, Freddy's awesome at this point. Like, he's cool, dude.
Yeah,
like, he's awesome, you know? So, yeah, I don't know. Listen, again, when you have Freddy standing on a beach in Ray-Bans, it's hard to be afraid of him at that point. Like, it is. It's just it's a weird thing.
I'll say this though, like the shark scene, pretty fucking scary.
I don't know if it was scary.
Okay,
listen, it might have been scary at the time.
See that.
it might have been you know, might have been scary.
Okay, you be in the beach and you
at
see
the
that
time.
shit.
Okay, if it was actually happening, but like might have been at the time might have been scary, but who knows. Mm-hmm. Again, the surviving cast members did appear as we kind of get into the plot a little bit, except for Neil. Hallelujah, praise Jesus, thank you. You know, Joey came back, Kincaid came back, Kristen did return, but literally to everyone's disappointment, Patricia Arquette did not reprise her role. And she was really, really well liked, like not only by fans, but by the cast and crew. They liked her. And of course, Tuesday Night replaced her as Kristen. And one of the most interesting things about this film, though, to me again, is that they literally completely X all of the characters from Dream Warriors. Like, they are axed, I think, before the halfway point in, like, literally before the halfway point in the film. All of our surviving characters are gone.
If you took a nap in the beginning of the film, you'd be like, "Bro, what fucking movie are that?"
I know, yeah. You'd be like, "Who are these people?"
Cast.
Like, I don't, like, legit. Who are these people? I don't know who they are. Hey, Rosalia, what's going on? Glad you're here, man. Rosalia said, Miguel, I love your Christmas sweater. Yeah, I told him he needs to burn
Christmas
it a little
sweater.
bit, though.
This is a Freddy sweater, though.
To get the true... Okay, it's red and green, though, bro. Like, I think that's part of the, like, juxtaposition of that.
Oh, is it really? That's pretty
Yes.
smart.
It's pretty... Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, man. But it's weird because, like, even... Listen, the way... I think it's kind of cool when Kincaid yells, like, the Freddy's back thing. It's interesting that Kristen can't get over it. She's bringing them into her dreams. And it's funny, Joey cracks me up in this movie. Because, first of all, Joey is just as much of a horn dog in Dream Master as he is in Dream Warriors. And then...
You'd think he'd work on his weakness, but he just didn't. He just enabled it more, I guess. You know what I mean?
Well, and then... It's funny, too, because when Kristen pulls them into her dream, and they're kind of, like, pissed that they're there, and they're like, man, I was in my own dreamland, blah, 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 like, whatever Kincaid is saying, Joey is all like, why are we here, Kristen? He couldn't, like, he was a mute in the last one. He could barely even speak. And now in this one, he's suddenly like, I'm Kanye Weaved and John Rick. Like, I don't know. It's weird. Yes, I said that bad on purpose. I did not purposely mess that up. I'm Keanu Reeves and y'all.
I'm Keanu Reeves.
Like he's trying to be all
yeah,
like,
but deadass.
I'm cool, and I'm looking at you, Kristen. Why did you bring us into your dream? I don't understand. Help me out.
Yeah, but how
Why
did
are
the
we
guy
here?
that was a mute all of a sudden decided to talk? Like, you know, like how, like his powers would not have been.
My bigger question is when he screams in Dream Warriors. I think it's hysterical when he screams and Freddy like hurts his ears and falls, and Nancy's like, "It's over." it's like, wait, bro, he yelled. What do you mean it's over? Like,
Yeah.
You've literally burned this man and shot him and stabbed him and done everything else in the real world, and you think homeboy screaming at him is gonna like kill him? Like, come on, come on,
His powers
Nancy,
probably
come
the one
on.
that was more cool.
Like, bro,
He's
Nancy,
like,
you
he's got like a banshee
Nancy,
powers. You know what I mean?
Nancy is Freddy's arch enemy, and she straight up was like, "Okay, that took care of it." I don't know. So many things in Dream Warrior. It's funny because I never realized I had as many problems with Dream Warriors as I do now.
After watching Dream Masters 3 times.
I have a lot of issues with it, which is very strange. Listen, Edward, it's interesting. I'm a one-time guy only. You get that once.
I bet
You get that
I was
beautiful
like,
sound
boy, if
one
you
time.
do it again, that's straight in my ear now.
But and of course, like we're switched halfway through to this whole other set of characters. Most of them, I'm gonna be real with you, are not super. I don't feel super attached to any of the characters. I feel like they're kind of there. Like you have the martial arts kid, and which is Kristen's boyfriend. And then you also have Alice, who is Rick's sister, and he's sitting there doing Karate Kid in his garage and things like that. You have the roach chick who steps on it, which is like the obvious foreshadowing. They're like the kids. You can tell that the kids are, you can tell that they're basically there to die, and that they're there for Freddy to play with.
Like,
You know what I
basically
mean?
Cannon fodder,
They
pretty much.
they really are, and that's okay. Like I'm okay with that. Yeah, dude, Alice has grown on me. I gotta say, I really did. Alice, and I don't know. I think Part 5 has a lot to do with it because Part 5 kind of tainted it for me. But Alice in 4 is not quite as irritating as I remember her being. Like, it gets a little campy towards the end of the film when she's tying the bandana around her head and she's got the makeshift taser thing. I don't even remember what exactly it did. I don't know. The end of that film is so strange because her and Freddy are basically kung fuing in a church, and it's so strange when she's tying the bandana and you're getting the Rocky montage. All you need is the bum 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 bum. All you need is the Rocky music, and it's like a full on 80s training montage before she goes and fights Freddy. But it's very strange, what they do with the whole dream powers, superpower thing. I don't know.
Well, it's the fact. It's the fact
Again.
that like Alice started off as like someone who was, who had zero idea of as what martial art is. When she did the drop kick and her shoe went into a fish tank, and then all of a sudden she's like double XY trigger dash 2245 combo hit on Freddy Krueger.
She's sitting there with her PlayStation remote, like.
Yes, exactly. It's like that's like the biggest 180 I've had right there.
Yeah. Well, and I don't know, she's not quite as bad. Like, I think if we're talking about the original trio of characters, Kristen and Kincaid and Joey, when Kincaid falls asleep and he wakes up in the junkyard, I'm sleepy, man. I'm telling you, it's been a week. When Kincaid wakes up in the junkyard and he kind of starts realizing things are going on, like, that's a pretty cool scene. Seeing the silhouette of Freddy, although I gotta say, something we have not brought up yet, this is the worst resurrection of a character I have ever heard of in my entire life.
Hey, the only reason why I like it is because they didn't kill the dog. The dog resurrected. The dog gave life. It didn't die.
Whatever. Stupid, bro. This is legit stupid.
Literally, I swear to God, he will definitely like praise this movie time and time again. But the second the fucking dog is brought up, automatic like fucking stupid, fucking ridiculous. It's like, bro, it's a dog facing flames. Like, how can that not be fucking cool? And then it just so happens the flame piss is what revives my godly body that I have right now. You know what I mean?
Like, I don't know. I want to say, if I remember correctly, there was a really big director. Like, I don't know. It might have been like Scorsese or somebody. Like, I don't remember exactly who it was. I'll have to do a little bit of research on that. I don't think I had that in my notes. But there was a director that, jokingly, I think, like, said to somebody, they were like, like, oh, how are you gonna bring Freddy back this time? And somebody was like, yeah, dog pisses on him. Like, and I think that person was like that actually just became what they did. Like, it doesn't make any sense that the dog, well, it's funny, like, listen, that dog has the worst UTI I have ever seen in my entire life. Like, it's in Ace Ventura when he bends over the chick cop that's really the dude, and he's like, then she has the worst case of hemorrhoids I have ever seen, and he flips her over. It's like, that dog, when he lifts his leg, dude, it's like a flamethrower coming out of his tip, bro. Like, yeah. Like, it's just like, I don't know, it's weird. It's the weirdest, like, strangest resurrection of a character I've ever seen in my life. Like, it's so strange. Jaded said, where did the dog get the ability to resurrect him? LOL. Like, is the dog demonic? Well, and then it does the whole weird thing where, like, that's where it gets weird, like, with the dog biting, does it bite Kristen? Yeah, when it bites Kristen and stuff, like, why? Was Freddy's soul in the dog? Like, was Freddy, like, were we pulling an Elm Street 2 and Freddy's, like, darkness was inside of the dog? Like, it doesn't ever explain that. The whole dog resurrection thing was stupid. Like, you could have just had Freddy come back somehow, and, like, it's a mystery. Like, hey, you could have left it at that.
Evil doesn't die. It simply transcends.
I don't know how to, I guess. I'm kidding. But yeah, man, it's the whole resurrection thing is very strange. But all of that to say, the whole Kincaid scene where he flips the cards on top of Freddy, and then Freddy somehow manages to grab him and he stabs him. It's got one of my favorite lines in the entire franchise, though, when Kincaid says, "I'll see you in hell," and Freddy, like, pulls him closer and he says, "Tell him Freddy sent ya," and then he stabs him and, like, lifts Kincaid up. Like, that's a pretty cool scene. That's one of my favorite Freddy moments. It was pretty neat. And of course, Joey just had to. Joey just had to
a straight old simp.
He had to fall for the waterbed chick, man. Like, had to do it. Couldn't do it, man. He had to get those
like,
big,
for real,
round, voluptuous melons. He couldn't hold back.
But for real though, like, if I was sleeping and then all of a sudden I realized some hot chick was, like, in my waterbed and, like, looking at me, I'd be like, okay, this is automatically a bad dream.
Would you be scared? If you lifted up your sheets and you saw some naked chick, I'd be like, "Whoa! Like, what are you doing here, man?"
No, because because of what happened in the previous movie. Like, bro, his simping activities almost cost him his life.
Yeah.
And then he wasn't like a girl in my waterbed. Maybe this is a red flag. I should probably get out. No,
Homegirl wrapped him up with a tongue.
Yeah.
In Dream Warriors, legit.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was saying. And I was like, and you think that isn't? You think what you're experiencing right now isn't a red flag? Like, okay, come on, man.
Yeah, like there should be like there are red flags going up all over the place, you know.
Yeah.
But like when Kristen dies, when she's still pulling people into her dream. Joey dies, Kincaid dies. Kristen's aware of this. She knows that. She obviously knows that they're missing when she sees them at school and things like that. And we do get the really cool scene when Robert Englund gets his nurse cameo when Kristen knocks herself out and Robert Englund is he's as the nurse and you kind of see him and he just looks like a nurse, and then suddenly she turns around and it's Freddy and he says, "We need to draw some blood," and he has like the bloody syringe and then she wakes up. Like that was a really cool scene. There were some cool Freddy moments in here. I gotta say,
Robert Englund really said that I hate wearing all this makeup for like 8 hours straight days, but you know what? Cross-dress the fuck out of me right now. I'm down.
Yeah. Well, it worked though. It was kind of cool. Like you were like, "Bro, is that Robert Englund?" I was like, "Yep, that's him." Like that is him.
I called that one quick too.
Like straight up. I don't even think he was wearing makeup. Like I think it was literally just like him in a wig and a nurse's outfit. And it still worked. It was cool. It was a kind of a cool scene. And it's cool the way she just turns around and then suddenly it's like Freddy, like in the nurse's outfit, and he's, you know what I mean? Like that's kind of cool. It's definitely a cool way to.
It's that type of Freddy I enjoy. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's those types of dreams, not the whole boiler room, and not necessarily like.
Oh, so you prefer the fun stuff?
I kind of prefer some of the fun stuff. If you actually want to go scary, then do boiler room stuff. But the whole simping kill, I wasn't really a fan of. The garage kill, the junkyard kill, I was a fan of. The boiler room was a good kill. I'd say the cockroach probably wasn't my favorite, and I wasn't a particular fan of the Karate Kid kill.
Yeah.
Yeah, those two kills I pretty much wasn't a fan of.
Well, and it's funny because like when let's go ahead and just talk about the elephant in the room, which is the switcheroo of the characters, like the complete 180 that we were talking about towards the beginning of the show. Because Kristen's mother obviously is still the worst. I don't know what it is about the Elm Street franchise and having the worst set of parents I've ever seen in a film. Like, you have Nancy's mom. First of all, Nancy's parents are divorced because of the fact that they literally murdered someone together with another group of parents. Like, that would be pretty... That I could see why that would ruin a marriage. I get it.
All trauma.
Trauma, as Jamie Lee Curtis would say.
That's what it's called, trauma.
You also have... Nancy's mom, who locked. Yeah. Bro, this lady she's got a bottle of vodka stored in every drawer, every closet, every pillowcase in her home. Like, it always cracks me up because she's got vodka stored in the couch. She's got vodka. She got vodka. She's got vodka like in the kitchen cabinets. My favorite is when Nancy looks.
She's got vodka in the vodka.
I know. I love it when Nancy peeks out her door to like make sure that her mom is in bed, and her mom opens the linen closet and reaches in between a bunch of towels and takes out a bottle. Bro, she doesn't even mix it. This chick just like straight up drinks vodka straight out of the bottle. Like,
no chaser.
That's
you
girl. Know that you're an alcoholic when you just take a straight bottle of vodka to your face and you enjoy it. Like, I don't know. Do you think she was enjoying it? Was she enjoying it, or was she really just doing it to get drunk and to forget? Because she was miserable.
To get drunk and forget, bro. Who the fuck enjoys drinking straight vodka out of the bottle? Yeah. Unless you're further up north, and that's all you can do. Like, Jesus Christ, get out of here.
That's funny, man. That's pretty funny.
Yeah, the parents definitely need a crash course on how to parent. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah. J-Dad said Elm Street needs a parenting class at the local
There you go.
community college.
There you go.
Edward, if you're behind on the stream, I think if you're watching on your phone where it says live, if you click live, it'll like automatically bring you to where we are right now, because there's a little bit of a delay, but I think it automatically like gets you back up with what's live on the screen. So the 180 we were talking about, when Kristen brings Alice into her dream, and obviously Freddy's there, and he says, you know, how sweet fresh meat, and you get that whole cool scene and stuff like that. First of all, Kristen's death, again, I think it's just weird. At least Kincaid and Joey had actual, like, build-up death scenes. Kristen's is just like, Kristen kind of has words with Freddy, and then Homeboy literally just, like, throws her into a fire. Like, there's no struggle. There's no, like, trying to get away and trying to beat him. Like, he's just like, well, cheers. And he just throws her into the boiler or whatever. And of course, Kristen's power gets transferred into Alice, which again, if you have with this kind of film, I think it makes sense. Like, it makes sense for this because you have to try and take what happened in Dream Warrior. I will say it's got to be hard to take what happened in the last 3 films and try to like make it a cohesive thing that makes sense, because again, they can talk about the rules all they want and that being the reason that like Wes Craven's thing didn't work, but they completely rewrote the rules on every one of these films. Like,
There's absolutely
they straight up
zero. There was 0 rule books. They literally read it and they're like, and nothing makes sense, and nothing makes sense, and another sequel coming. So that's what they said.
Guess it's time to do it. They're like,
Yeah.
okay, but what's our direction? What are we going to do? It's just like,
I
I don't know.
Figure it out.
Do something. Like, I don't know. Let's just figure it out. Thanks, man.
Where's
You're
that
awesome
wall
too.
that we throw shit at?
Yeah. Yeah, no problem, man. Everybody go check out I Am Edward Black. We're going to check out his channel after this, so glad you guys are here, man. By the way,
Go
eight
get
of
your
you
account. I wanna see it.
eight of you watching right now, if you haven't already stabbed the like button, I can't believe I just said that. I hate the whole smash that like button thing, but J-Dad came up with the stab the like button thing. Stab the like button is the best thing I like so far. It's better than smash. Smash that like button and ding the notification bell. I hate it. Can't do it. Not about it. Bobby Lee, what's going on, man? Haven't seen you here before. Dude, a guy molesting and murdering the kids in their neighborhood got off with a technicality. The law failed them, and they did the only thing that made sense, protecting their kids from a monster. Yes.
I wonder, what was the technicality?
I don't know.
Was it insanity?
I'm not sure. I don't know. Surely not.
I hope not.
I don't know. Yes. I'm not saying they did the wrong thing. That's not at all what I'm saying. I'm just saying, like, that would hold a lot of weight, like knowing that you murdered somebody, like especially that you burned them alive. Like, that's pretty bad. It's bad enough to kill somebody, but the fact that you burn them alive, that's pretty rough. Legit. Yeah. It is.
I mean,
you know,
and killing someone
it's funny because
I'm sure.
John Saxton actually wrote a prequel, which of course never got made, but he wrote a prequel, which little strange. I don't know if I like this or not. But I believe it was like a cult led. Was it I think it was like Jeffrey Dahmer or something.
We always gotta go back to the cult now, man, don't we?
Well, I think it was like a cult led by Jeffrey Dahmer in the it was something like that. Like, I think it was a Jeffrey Dahmer thing that they, like, if I'm not mistaken, where, like, he was really the person that killed all the teenagers. Like, Freddy Krueger was actually innocent, and they killed an innocent person, and that's what made him become evil Freddy, which I don't know if I like that. It's interesting. It's an interesting thing, and like we talked about before, like, they tried to do that with the remake. but they ruined it in the last 6 minutes when you realize, oh, okay, he really did do it. Like, he's really a disgusting human being. Like the entire time in the Elm Street remake, you're thinking like, holy crap, this is kind
Holy
of
shit,
sad.
I'm gonna
Like,
root for Freddy.
like, yeah, like you're kind of like, they really straight up killed the wrong person. And then as soon as he's like running his like glove up Nancy's leg and he says, "You were always my favorite," it's like, okay, we just ruined it. Like, there we go. It's like, okay, well, there we go. It's like, we just ruined it, you know? Bobby said he got off on a technicality. Warrant was not signed. Okay, so like the warrant, like it was something stupid, like somebody messed up. Like they knew they had the right person, but somebody messed up.
I'm sure that guy got. I'm sure that guy got burned alive too. Fucking hell.
Yeah, the parents tracked him down too.
Yeah.
So after the whole power switcheroo thing, which by the way we didn't talk about the dad, Alice and Rick's dad, dude straight up shows up to his house with the brown paper bag of booze in the car. Dude's been drinking it in the car and his briefcase, and he walks in, sits down at the glass dining room table, and she puts like a TV dinner in front of him, and he's like, the hell is this? Like, it's like the most stereotypical like 80s dad thing. It's so funny.
This is America.
I know, right?
Don't catch you slipping up.
Like,
it's pretty much the most American dad back then, I'm sure.
You know you're an 80s dad when you get out of the car holding the brown paper bag that's already open.
It's like, how bad is your life in the 80s?
Yeah.
Where you have to drink and drive after work.
And to be fair, though, he does try. I think he does try to like make it right with her at one point, because they do have like kind of a moment, which is, I guess, kind of cool.
No, they don't. That man was about 3 bottles in, about as bad as fucking Nancy's mom.
Yeah. Well, and the first time that Alice realizes that she can really use her powers is when she brings Sheila into her dream, which is her friend with the glasses. Which her death is pretty rough too. I'm not gonna lie. It's cool when they're sitting there. She's in class and she falls asleep, and obviously she brings Sheila in, and we've established that her friend has asthma and things like that, and when they're sitting there and they look up, and like she looks up and she realizes that she's in a dream, and she looks up and Freddy's sitting there with his feet kicked up on the teacher's desk eating the apple. It's just like, oh boy,
using his gloves, like
he's peeling the skin with his glove, and then he's taking the bites out of the apple. That's pretty cool, man. But
I forgot about her death. Her death is pretty gnarly.
Yeah, it was dude. I'm telling you, some of the deaths in this one are pretty gnarly. Like Kincaid's is really cool. Wanna suck face? Like that one's pretty cool. And the way her skin looks, how it like dries out, almost like her skin becomes like dark beef jerky. Like it's pretty nasty looking. You know what I mean? It's rough.
Yeah,
it's rough.
Well, I was just gonna say it was almost as if like you just like took air out of a fucking paper bag.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like you overstretched a balloon and then like let all of the air out of it. Yeah. It's pretty gross. Yeah, and Edward Black said, #wanna suck face? No.
Like,
could you imagine if she would have looked at him and been like, no?
No.
No, I don't.
And then Freddy's like, oh shit, it's gotta be consensual. I'm sorry. Dream over.
Dream over. Bobby said Nancy's mom says that the lawyers got fat and the judge got famous, but someone forgot to sign the warrant in the right place. That's interesting too. The lawyers got fat and the judge got famous. Like, yeah, she does say that, doesn't she? That's interesting, because it's like, okay, so this was a pretty big case then. Like, this was a big deal. You know, Freddy Krueger, like the case of Freddy Krueger was a really, really big deal. That's very interesting. Yeah,
I'm not surprised.
Yes, that is the moment I'm talking about, when they have their moment after her brother dies, when her dad doesn't want her to leave and he's trying to protect her. See, he was a pretty decent parent. Kristen's mother, who is literally the reason she died, because she drugged her in her drink, is a terrible mother. Because even if you think back to Dream Warriors, literally, your daughter is going through a crisis. Like, it's very obvious that there is something wrong and something really bothering her. Yet, her mom is more worried about going and tapping Big John in the basement trying to find the bourbon than she is about her daughter, who appears to be like suicidal and having a really, really big issue.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and of course, then she tries to drug her in this film. Like she's a terrible mother.
It was the
I
80s.
guess,
That was back when, like, if you were depressed, take a pill. You're
yeah,
hungry? Take a pill. Can't sleep? Take a pill. Got
Yeah.
ankle problems? Take a pill.
yeah,
Got a pill problem? Take a pill.
yeah, man. Edward Black said that scene is he said it's fucked up. He basically sucked her dry and assaulted her. He really did.
It really did. Like, you almost felt for her. I almost felt bad for her. Because she looked like she was the youngest one there, and it kind of felt weird. I feel like Freddy had way too much fun with that one. I feel like that one kind of perpetuated the whole, like, pedo Freddy kind of thing. It was a little weird. Because that was, like, the only one where Freddy got, like, kind of there at that point. So I was like,
Yeah.
"Ugh."
Yeah,
So.
yeah. Well, and it was very like, it was very hardcore there. Bobby said there's a deleted scene in the original. All the parents had a child killed by Freddy. Nancy's mom tells her that she had an older brother. All the kids had siblings killed. Yeah, I did know that. I'm kind of glad that they
I didn't
cut
know
that
that.
because I don't know if that worked quite as well as I don't know if that would have worked quite as well as like them being the focus. You know what I mean? Like they're the older kids. Like they were younger when they were being molested and whatever by Freddy, and like it's like they're the older kids now, and now they're fighting him back. Like I think that works a little bit better as a story. But
Fair.
yeah, I don't know. I think it makes a little bit more sense. So after the whole after I basically destroy my mic, that's what happens
That's
here.
7.5%, dog.
I know, right? After I fix my mic, that's what we're gonna do first. After the good old classic wanna suck face scene, this is where we start to kind of get a little weird, like when Rick's fighting him with he's doing the karate thing, and Alice starts to realize again one of the stranger beats about this film, that she is gaining like the personality and the characteristics and the traits and the dream powers of all of her friends that are dying, which is just so odd to me. It's very strange.
It was a slight like nods where she was like about to take a swig of a cigarette, and she was like, "Wait, I don't smoke."
Yeah.
I was like, "Bro, what the fuck?"
Yeah. Well, and it kind of takes you a second almost to be like, what? Like you're almost like, what is happening right now? And then it kind of like clicks a few minutes later. For me, what they're doing really clicks in the meatball scene when she's in the Craven. Get it, Craven? When she's in the Craven and her and Freddy, like Freddy's sitting there stabbing the meatballs and he's talking to her and stuff. And when he says, "Bring me more," or whatever, and the doors flies open and you see homegirl Roach Motel chick working out. And when she's sitting there working out, okay, I have to talk about this scene. This is one of the cringiest scenes for me. People who've watched our show know this. I don't mind gore stuff. Like I don't mind some gore and horror. I don't mind like there's a level. Like I don't like the torture porn
There's
stuff.
levels to this
I'm not
shit,
I'm
dog.
not about that. But I don't mind some blood. I can deal with some blood. Bone stuff though grosses me out. I can't do bones. Bones are, I don't know what it is, but bones are nasty to me. And when she's sitting there, she's pumping her iron, and he snaps her arms like backwards, and it's like there's a gap here. I'm like,
And then she starts flailing all around like
I
a
know,
fucking
and
dinosaur.
well, that's the thing that kills me is she stands up and her arms are just going like this, and it's like, bro, stop, like I can't, I already can't, and she keeps breaking, and her like bones are snapping, and she's like turning into this roach and flailing around on the floor, and Freddy is basically just sitting there watching. And even like when he grabs the Roach Motel and like he looks in it and stuff and kind of like laughs, and then he crunches it in his hand and like the gut, like the juice and stuff flies out the sides, like, it's gross. It freaks me out. It's one of the nastiest death scenes in any slasher film for me.
I'd say
it's gross.
That's definitely
it's absolutely
definitely
gross.
one of those. Even though that isn't like one of my favorites, mainly because it's probably one of the most disgusting ones. I think it's probably one of the better nightmare moments because like what's one fear that a lot of hate to stereotype, but like what's one thing a lot of females don't like, which is bugs. So can you imagine
Yes.
a nightmare
Right.
where
Oh, yeah.
you literally become a bug and you're then like squished
Yeah.
by fucking
Yeah.
Freddy Krueger?
In a glue trap, like, yeah,
And
well,
a glue trap.
and it foreshadows that though, like it automatically foreshadows that at the beginning of the film when she like, I think is it like in her shoe or something? I don't even remember, but like when she steps on it in the parking lot at the
It was
school,
in her.
and
It
they're,
was
like,
in her bag of chips.
yeah,
of all
yeah,
things.
yeah. That's what it was, yeah. And she steps on the roach and whatever else, but yeah, and like it's interesting. It's interesting that the deaths get. Would you say the deaths get gnarlier with the M? Like, I don't know.
I'd say the deaths get more creative.
They get more creative, but I think that's part of what I was trying to figure out how to formulate that question. Like, the death scenes get more creative with the MTV Freddy thing, because I think again it goes back to, like, as Dave McRae would say, the theater of the mind thing, where like in the first two films, Freddy didn't need to be like super like the death scenes didn't need to be too over the top. I mean, obviously you have like Johnny Depp's death scene in the first film, which is pretty friggin' nuts. Like the blood like spewing out of the bed all over the rotating room and stuff. Like that's pretty wild. But like the death scenes kind of got wild. Like that roach thing is just, it's wild. The wanna suck face thing is wild. Freddy's like the dude kung fu fighting Freddy in everybody was kung fu fighting. I can't sing. I'm a music teacher. I should be able to sing.
And then Freddy just pretty much Tom Brady lobs it through his fucking chest.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's very funny. But yeah, and I agree with you, Jada. They got more intricate. Like it was very, like you could definitely tell that the death scenes were kind of.
There were multiple meetings about how these people were gonna die.
Right. It was the story was important, but I think the death scenes were almost equally as important about, you know what I mean? It was almost
a horror movie.
Equally as important. Like,
yeah.
Yes, they didn't have as much build up to it. It was more about what was actually happening during the gruesomeness of the scene versus like the build up into holy crap, somebody's about to die and this is about to be wild. It wasn't about like the tension of, you know, like I think to Rod's death in the first film, that freaked me out as a kid. When Nancy is watching Freddy in the jail cell and he walks through the bars and like Rod is laying there asleep and Freddy, like he walks through the bars and he looks up at Nancy and like he makes eye, like he knows that Nancy is watching him and he's just kind of like, and he's reaching for Rod with the glove and stuff like that. Like that scene legitimately freaked me out. Like there's so much tension in that. And these death scenes didn't have quite as much tension. It's just more like, it wasn't quite as much tension. It's more what's happening in the moment versus the build up into the actual death scene, you know? So yeah. I don't know. It's just kind of another interesting thing that happened with the whole MTV Freddy thing, you know.
Now, would you prefer more serious, gruesome deaths, or just more fun, intricate, thought out ways of Freddy, you know, pursuing and killing these victims?
I don't know. I think there can be a balance of the two. You know, I think there's obviously a place for. I think there's a place for the slow burn build up scenes where it builds into like the actual like climactic death scene, but I think there's also a place for the fun stuff too, for the roach motels, for the wanna suck face. Like I think there's room for that. I think there's room for both of them. It's finding a balance. Like I don't know if I would want all any one way, you know, so it doesn't get boring. Why are we burping so much on this episode? I don't understand. What's happening?
Well, one, I just like to burp, and I'm gassy. You just drank a 7.5 beer, so obviously...
It was good. It was very good. I enjoyed it. Bobby Lee, he said, that was the thing about Freddy, him exploiting their fears and vulnerabilities. Nancy's death has scared me to this day. He disguised himself as her dad and told her that he loved her. So cruel. Yeah, man, 100%. I'm not a huge fan of Nancy's death. I feel like it could have been a little bit more, like, that's one that could have been more drawn out, you know? Like, this Roach Motel scene was longer than Nancy's death. Yes, it was cruel. Yes, it was super, super dark in what he did. But, like, it could have... I would have liked a little bit more of it, I guess, if it would have lasted a little bit longer. So that, and that's just me. I know that's a personal opinion thing. Edward Black said, although it's based on actual sleeping deaths where the kids were afraid to sleep, they literally cut off their eyelids and kept coffee pots stored in the rooms. Yeah, it was pretty wild, man. Yeah, he said, ditto, underuse that, Nancy. I feel like even John Saxton's death, like, they just felt very unearned to me. You know, I felt like there could have been more to the build-up of their death scene. Like, I don't mind that either of the characters died in the film. Like, that's not necessarily the problem. It just, I don't know. And I completely get why it scarred you, dude. And, like, that's legitimate. I mean, it's messed up, like, what he did to her. But it's just, I feel like it could have been built up a little bit more. It could have lasted longer. It could have been more there. If there would have been more of a build-up and more tension leading into that moment, I feel like it would have been more like, oh, he just stabbed Nancy. Like, that would have been, it would have struck a chord with you a little bit more than that.
Yeah.
Another thing, Miguel, that we haven't even talked about as we kind of get to, like, the final act of the film is the whole, the time loop thing, which is pretty interesting. When it's a constant time loop, he's trying to prevent them from getting to the Roach Motel chick, and he's trying to prevent them to get them to save her, and they're running out, and they're like, we gotta go, and they get in the truck, and then they end up in the same place, and they end up in the same place, and they end up in the same place, which is kind of a cool thing. Like, that's a little bit of the time thing, you know what I mean? It's not,
Yeah,
I mean, it's not what
but,
Wes
like,
Craven
I
wanted, but...
I feel like that was just another one of those fuck the rules in regards to the dream world kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's like, so what? Does Freddy control
He controls time
now?
and space too, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
So
so strange.
it was just one of those moments where I was like, I don't know what the rules are now at this point.
Yeah.
It feels like a GTA server in regards to Freddy's world.
Yeah. Well, and of course Dan, who is kind of the dude who makes it to the end with her, he is he ends up being injured after they're in their car accident or whatever, and he well,
He's about to be sent to like surgery, and
right, yeah.
They said like within like 15 minutes he should be under, and which meant that fucking Alice had 15 minutes to pretty much save his life.
Yeah,
bro. Whenever
forgot what I was about to say something, and I completely forgot what I was about to say. I'm completely blanking right now.
No, that's fine. But like, I thought that whenever they went to the hospital and Alice knew that she only had like about like an hour or so. I don't know why I said 15 minutes. About like an hour to like get this thing settled before they put him to sleep and Freddy comes after him. And then like Freddy's about to like get him, and then all of a sudden the doctors just like defibrillate him, I think.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Woof, thank God we got you, man." And I'm like, "Wait, is that a good thing or a bad thing?" Like, one, like he's out of the dream, but two, he just left Alice all alone with Freddy. So it's kind of like, oh shit, now here comes the fun part.
Right. Well, and it's cool, like, when she runs out of the hospital and, like, she's, like, obviously trying... I mean, she's trying to save his life, you know? But it's just weird when we get the whole training montage and she's all like, whoa! Like, she's about to go fight everybody, you know what I mean? She's about to go fight Freddy.
Getting ready like that probably took about 35 minutes.
I know, right? Like, that was that didn't happen in 15 minutes. What do you think of the final fight and how Freddy goes out in this film? Let me ask you that.
Oh, I thought it was trash. No, I thought it was pretty cool.
It was different.
I mean,
it was interesting.
I kind of figured it was definitely very different. I mean, it's better than the whole, like, you know, on Elm Street 2, whenever it was like a weird conversion therapy kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I mean, like, you gotta take it you gotta take this for what it is, man, and for what we've had over the past couple of times. You know, like, what was it? The first one. I think in the first one, it was just, I don't believe in you, Freddy, kind of thing. And then in the second
she turned
one,
his back on him.
Yeah, and then in the second one, it was like, and the second one, it was like conversion therapy, and then in the third one, what was it? They destroyed his bones, so he blew up. I think that's how it went.
Yeah, basically when they threw the holy water on his bones, it basically like
Yeah,
made him like dissipate and go away. Which
exactly.
it's interesting, but like I think
So what's the dog piss
part
made
of
out of? Devil juice?
part of me likes the fact that like she recites the poem and stuff, and she hears the kids saying it, and like she shows him himself, and she shows evil himself. That's the thing, though, is like the fact that we have to keep finding a way to bring Freddy back. You almost have to keep rewriting the rules, because it's like if everybody just turned their back on him, it wouldn't make sense. If Elm Street 2 doesn't even really have a resolution necessarily.
It really doesn't.
It really doesn't. There's not really a resolution to the story. It just kind of stops. But you almost have to do something different like that. Like when she shows him himself and she's reciting the poem or whatever, it feels very like Halloween Resurrection-ish when she's like, this is for Duh, and this is for so-and-so, and you did this to them, and this is for so-and-so. Like, it feels very like campy like that, but like when she's showing him, I do like all of the hands of like all of the souls and the people that he's killed, like reaching out and tearing him apart from the inside out. That's pretty cool. That was a really, really interesting thing. And I know that was something that they like purposely planned out when they tried to take, like they were trying to take the time to like figure out how to take Freddy out in this film. Like they thought it would be kind of cool for like them to basically tear him apart from the inside out, which is cool. I dig that. I mean, it's like, at least you could look at it as somewhat of like, okay, the people he's killed are getting revenge somehow,
Mm-hmm.
So.
Well, so Freddy died in this one by his own reflection, if I do remember correctly.
Freddy died by fire, Jason by water. How can we use that? Maybe the worst line in Freddy vs. Jason.
Yeah, it definitely is.
It really is.
But yeah, it was reflection, wasn't it? It was his own reflection that killed him.
Yes, it was his own reflection because he saw his own evil, and like then that like let all of the hands come out and take him. I don't know. Then it doesn't completely make sense. I'm gonna be real with you. I mean, it doesn't, but it doesn't. But
yeah.
We got. I do like the scene where she takes the glove is laying on the ground and she kicks the glove down into the pit. Like that's pretty cool. It has its moments. There's some cool things in it. It's just interesting. Like, even when she, like at the end of the film, when she looks in the fountain and she sees his reflection and like, he said, he's like, huh, what'd you wish for? And she says like, oh, if I tell you, it won't come true or whatever like that. It's like, oh, well, you just saw him in the water, so you ought to tell somebody that something happened. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, oh, okay, well, like, I don't know. Like, I don't really understand. Yeah. Again, it's just kind of like, and we're done. Like, see you next time, friends. Yeah. Like, it's an interesting way to end the film.
It's like one of those things where it's like those Looney Tunes things. Like, oh, Freddy, you did it again. You're back. Yeah, like you didn't die.
Yeah.
So,
it's a fun one, man. It's definitely. I gotta tell you, it's one that has gone up in ranking for me. I would not have ever said that it was a film that I was particularly fond of. But it's improved for me. I don't know if I'm.
It very well be his top 5.
He was number 1. No, it may be above Dream Warriors for me, possibly. I don't know if I'm not gonna go there yet. I'll save it for the ranking, but it may be above Dream Warriors. It might.
I feel like his slot for those two are gonna flip flop, but they're gonna stay within the same realm of each other.
Yeah, I don't know. The older I've gotten, and the more and more I watch Dream Warriors, though, the more and more I'm like, okay. And then I'll watch for 10 more minutes, and I'm like, okay. Like, Dream Warriors is a very strange film, and this is strange too. But at least this is MTV fun strange. You know what I mean? Like we're full tilt MTV Freddy. We're full on. We're just gonna have a good time together with this thing. It's a fun one. I do enjoy it. It's definitely got up. It opened in 1,765 theaters. Had a pretty good opening weekend, almost $13 million, and Rotten Tomatoes. I think it's got a 53% on Rotten Tomatoes right now.
Right now, it's gonna stay that way forever,
Yeah.
in perpetuity.
Yeah. Let me see. I forget. There was one. I don't think I have it in my notes. There was one review I wanted to read. Let's see. Let's go to the old Rotten. It's Rotten Tomatoes Elm Street foe.
Are you gonna read the reviews? I can't wait to see this.
It's got a 53% on
How
Rotten
funny-
Tomatoes. It's got a 43% audience score.
I was gonna say, how funny would it be if like someone on Rotten Tomatoes made a account as Freddy Krueger and gave it a terrible review?
Yeah, they're actually not bad. First one is A Nightmare on Elm Street Part 4, The Dream Master is by far the best of the series, a superior horror picture that balances wit and gore with imagination and intelligence. Another person said consistently rewatchable and inventive. Variety said Robert Englund receiving star billing for the first time. Yeah, which is true. Robert Englund got star billing, like, for the first time, starring Robert Englund on this film.
Yeah, but he wasn't the first one. You remember? We made fun of that in the end credits. It was like man in car.
Yeah.
Or
yeah, it was
or
a
man
very
in
strange.
office. And
Yeah.
I was like, wow, like, do you pay for that slot? It must have been a really rich person that just got that in the top slot. It wasn't even an alphabetical order. That's what got me.
Yeah.
Like, it was by nothing. Yeah. Robert
but-
Englund was like line 8 or something like that. I was like, there he is.
Yeah. Variety said Robert Englund receiving star billing for the very first time is delightful in his frequent incarnations as Freddy, delivering his gag lines with relish and making his grisly proceedings funny. Some of the negative ones. Though the Elm Street series contains the most intelligent premise in current genre films, none of the movies take advantage of their full potential. Another one said, as always, the teen actors are disposable, and even Robert Englund seems to be sleepwalking through the Freddy Krueger character. I don't know about that. I don't think he was doing that. That's a little hardcore.
Yeah.
That's a little rough.
I don't think you'll be watching the same movie, honestly. I feel like Robert Englund had the most fun out of this one.
Yeah. This other one says, this terrible sequel pushed Freddy into a mainstream area that seemed too safe for him to be the Freddy we already missed. So, honestly, there's quite a fair mix of good and bad reviews, which I think is fine. I think, obviously it's never going to appease everybody, especially when you have this type of thing, like, because you're going to have some people who want the hardcore dark version of the character, and you're going to have people who want the fun, jokey, again, calling everybody bitches all the time, that version of the character. So, I don't know. For me, this one has definitely moved up on my list, and it's a fun film to watch. I think it's up there with 1 and 2 for right now. So,
Dang.
yeah, I like it. I like it a lot. How about you, Miguel?
We like it a lot. Nah, I mean, well, I'll say this movie's definitely been something that's, since I've had to watch it 3 times, I'd say that this movie definitely has something very notable in this movie, which we start off with, like, MTV Freddy coming to fold. And I'd say for me, out of the 3 that I've seen so far, it's definitely one of those movies where I think I could go back and watch again later on and actually kind of enjoy what I'm seeing. The deaths are cool. The story is kind of mid, but I don't mind it. Soundtrack's pretty fucking fire. And Freddy, 10 out of 10 for me at that point.
Yeah, man. What's up, Colton? He said, "Sups, dude. Who y'all want to play Freddy in the future, and who do you all want to?" I can't read apparently. Let's try that one more time because I am an idiot. He said, "Sups, dudes. Who do you all want to see play Freddy in the future, and do you all want a new movie or a TV series?" Well, I'll tell you what. Rosalia brings up a good point. Dave McRae looks like he is going to be an absolutely remarkable Freddy. I would love to see Dave do it. I mean, I think that'd be a really cool opportunity for him. It's the same thing with Michael Myers. I'm not super picky about who plays them. I'm not super picky about who writes and who directs. I just want them to treat the characters right. As far as a movie or a TV series, I go back and forth. I think if you're going to do a horror TV series, which, I mean, it's happening with Friday the 13th now, so who knows. I think, I don't know. I think Freddy would work the best in a TV series, because I think if it were me, I would try and do this as basically, if I were doing a TV series, the first season of it would be more of a mystery thriller type thing, not necessarily a slasher series or like the full on ghost Freddy, like with the dreams and stuff like that. Like, I think I would do a mystery thriller thing where kids are going missing, and like it's like the investigation happening, and like they're trying to find who's doing this, and like it's something legit and creepy. And then maybe in like the final scene of that first season, you do like the full-on ghost Freddy, like after the parents have all burned Freddy alive and stuff like that, then you finally see ghost Freddy, and then it cuts to black. And then season 2, you can actually like do the typical, you know, dream stuff. Dream Warriors! You can do that whole like thing with Freddy. Not necessarily doing Dream Warriors, but you know what I mean. So that's kind of what I would like to see. But I think Dave is going to do. I think Dave is going to absolutely crush it out of the park with Freddy. Legit.
I think it's sad that it's going to be that's going to be a short too, man.
Well, I think it'll be a short, but honestly, I think it's going to be very successful. I think between the fact that Miko is in it and they've got Dave doing it, and I think it's going to be really well done. I think they'll do sequels, and I don't think they're going to have any issue with doing that. I think many people will hop on board with Dylan's New Nightmare sequels. Me personally, I do. I don't know if that's true or not, but Amelia, what's going on, buddy?
I would like to at least see a feature length, or just like a special feature length, I guess, like hour tops.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? I mean,
never
really freaking cool.
Never say never. You know what I mean? I mean, you never know what they're gonna do, but yeah, I'm not super attached to anybody. Even with Michael Myers, like I'm not. If they reimagine Halloween in 10 years, which we all know that they're going to at some point, like I'm not gonna be super, super picky about who is going to play him, or who is going to do what, or who's going to direct, who's going to write. I know that's a fun conversation for a lot of people to have based on like other people's work and kind of like what they've done in the past and what vibe they would give it. As you guys, I've said this before. I told Miguel I worked on this a little bit last week. Hopefully next October, which it's my goal next October, I want to get this video out, which is like a big passion project of mine, which is basically what I would do if somebody handed me the keys to Halloween. But I mean, that would even make an interesting episode of this show, or even the main Let's Talk Movies show, like what we would do like with Elm Street or with Friday. Like that would be kind of a cool series, you know what I mean?
Yeah, so, I think it would.
That'd be cool. We could do something like that as well. But hey, Miguel, final thoughts on Nightmare on Elm Street Part 4, The Dream Master.
Pretty much.
Master of Puppets, ba-ba-ba-da-ba. No. Gotta get the Metallica, ba-ba-ba-ba-ba.
Well, I mean, overall, Friday 13 was a great film.
What?
Yeah.
As he's dressed as Freddy. Listen, I want you all to know that as he is dressed as Freddy right now, he still said the wrong thing.
Friday 13th, solid movie.
Legit, still said it wrong, even dressed as Freddy himself.
Overall, Dream Masters, I don't know. I'd give it probably like a 6.9, I'd say.
That's fair. That's fair.
It's a fair movie, I gotta say. And I'd say it's probably one of the Freddys I think I had the most enjoyment out of, I would say. Yeah, I definitely did. So
it's fun. I'm excited to move on to the next one, just because we've been sitting on this one for so long. And although I am excited, but sour. Miguel, I gotta tell you, we're going downhill now. Like we've crested the peak, and now we're rounding the corner, and there's some dark nights ahead of us, my friend.
I can't wait.
It's interesting. Dream Child is next, which we will leave it at that. Million, real quick, he said, good money and Jason finally turning. Freddy shouldn't be far behind. I would think so, man. I think again, I feel like Freddy is the go-to. He's the ticket. Like more so than Jason, more so than Michael right now. I think people are kind of tired out of Michael. As much as I love my boy. You all know I love my boy, but I'm ready. I needed a break from Michael. I did. I really did. Love him. But I'm excited to see what this A24 show is. What this whole Friday the 13th show is. It'll be kind of cool.
As am I.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see, man. Guys, listen, hour and 50, not 15, 50. I don't know. I need to go to bed, apparently. Guys, thank you so much for joining us tonight. This has been episode number 22 of Purely and Simply Evil. We do new shows every single week at 8 p.m. Eastern. I know it's been a little spotty the last couple of weeks. Just like work stuff going on, a lot of stuff, just personal stuff going on too. Nothing bad, but just
They
super,
do be
super busy.
personal.
They do be personal. Just a lot of stuff going on with a number of things. We're definitely going to try and try to get a little bit more regular on these. We still have a couple of really cool things coming up. Of course, we're not far away from our 100th episode of the main show of Let's Talk Movies, and we're super excited. We have something really fun planned for that, except we're going to need probably if you all are going to come hang out with us for our 100th episode, bring a friend first of all, but we're probably going to need about 3 or 4 hours of your time. I'm going to be straight up with you. I don't know about 4 hours, maybe not 4 hours, but we might need 2.5, 3 hours of your time. Just saying.
It's gonna be a long one, guys.
It's gonna be a long one.
Grab your energy drinks.
Bring beer. bring a friend and bring beer. That's what you need to know for the 100th episode celebration. But so we'll have more announcements on the. Why can't I speak tonight, bro?
Good night, everybody.
But we'll have more announcements about that and more announcements about what's to come next week. Guys, we'll talk to you very soon. Please follow us on Twitter and Instagram at LTM Podcast KY. You can find it right there on the screen. I'm on the opposite side. And guys, you're the very best. We love each and every one of you. And we'll talk to you soon. Peace.
Peace.